So, you're an electronics hobbyist, you're new to programming, or you've got a bit of experience, you're writing some code for your Arduino, Raspberry Pi, etc., and come up against a brick wall. You're stuck. So what do? You go into a forum like the Arduino forums or Stack Exchange and ask the question. You then get ridiculed by the members and or have to wait days for a reply. Well, you can just use artificial intelligence to get an answer immediately. Let me just show you a few examples. Okay, let's start with Copilot, which is built into Windows 11. Accessible via an app on your taskbar, or you can go to the website, log in with your Microsoft account. Now, this is a question I asked it the other day, and basically I've got one of those thin film electrofluorescent displays. Now, I already knew the answer to this, but I just thought I'd ask Copilot how I'm going to get it to work with an Arduino. Now, as you can see, it gave me detailed descriptions of why it won't work or what you need to do. I mean, basically it's saying here that an Arduino isn't really suitable. Now, I already knew this, and it's giving you a perfect detailed response, a real-world example. So you basically did a HDMI decoder or a FPGA to drive it, and Arduino just not good enough. So I then asked her about using a ESP8266. Again, see, it's not really. Example like things like no native video output, limited GPIO speed, etc. It gives some caveats. So I could have easily asked that on a forum and got some stupid answers and weird dates, and that gave me an answer straight away. And that's with it on quick response as well. I mean, you can change it to think deeper, where it will search and give more detailed replies. Or you can go deep research, but you obviously have to pay a subscription to access that. So the first two options are good enough for most people. It then gives you the specs of the display, which is basically, as you can see here, I've got military grade one. Basically, it's equivalent to it's same as a civilian version, but it just, as I say, shock resistant, vibration tolerant, etc. So it came out of a helicopter, and it gives you a suggested setup. Went through all this. I basically asked it for Raspberry Pi was suitable. It says it could potentially drive that. And then I basically said it's not feasible. So, this is your instinct of solid. So, yeah, I could have asked that on the forum. So, I then give it a program that I wrote to check to see if it's functional. I haven't actually made the physical hardware yet, so the program compiles. So I ask the AI if it'll actually work. This is the answer it gave me. Friendly response, rather than a sarcastic reply you get on a forum. So it's got a robust menu system, blah, 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 blah. And then it gave me a few suggestions on that bit to fine tune it. So this bit here. So I added that bit to the code, this suggestion here. Re-uploaded it and asked if it still works. There we go. Right, so that's one example. Okay, the next example, I use Grok, which I found much better for diagnosing faults with code than Copilot. You can use either AI, whichever one you prefer, but I've done most of the work in Grok. Now, basically, I've got the clock program what I've been making. It had a bug where the display test function exits immediately instead of a timeout timer. Data temperature displays what part of the code is wrong, so I'll give it the entire sketch. And this is basically what it came back with. Now, again, can be put on a forum. Now what you get here is a clear explanation of the bug, why it's failing, due to an incorrect variable, blah, blah, blah. Function checks in display start, so the display test mode, the target condition, yeah, etc. there, and it tells you there the problematic part of the code that's causing the problem here. And then it gives you a description of the issue. So it gives you far more detailed response of what you get in a forum. And then it gives you a fix. So you just copy the entire function, the entire display test function, copy and paste it into your program, compile it, and it works. And then it explains how it's fixed it and the additional notes. Now, this is a perfect example of why you should use AI instead of just simply going onto a forum and asking, how do I do this? Because you will get a stupid answer. Now, just put it into an AI like Grok and you get a clear example. Just provide your code. And it's as simple as that. I'll look at some of the other things here. Let's put that as well. There's one thing Grok can't do. It can't generate schematic diagrams, although it can read limited diagrams. So that's something it can't do. Now, there's a question here. Basically, I've got a digital clock, one of my previous projects, which I'll show on the screen now. I wanted to add a remote control feature to it. Now, that included a lot of coding. I did try to write the code myself. I'm running into a lot of issues, different versions of libraries, etc. So I simply went to Grok and said, can you add a remote control feature? I want to use these particular buttons. And it generated all the code for me. Copied it into the program. It compiled it, but it did have some bugs. So there are several conversations with Grok. Yeah, it's got this bug now, etc. And it fixed them all for me. There's very little coding I had to do here. It did most of it for me. Now, the other problem with these artificial intelligence is they are limited at how many conversations you can have per day without paying for a subscription. But generally, Grok found that okay for most things. So this is one of the bugs that I encountered. Again, there's a copy of the program given there. This is there. Let's break it down. Check IR function. Explains how the program works, etc. That's actually just see the question I asked it here. Yes. Yeah, this is the question I asked it. Explain how during the check I input just set time to update the display, but then how did it check the inputs again? So this is actually a working program, but I didn't understand how it works. So I asked Grok to explain how it works. This is what I asked it, and this is its reply. Let's go up. Cool. Right. Yeah, that's the program I give it. That it basically explains how the program works in plain English without any sarcasm or anything like that. It's pretty brilliant. So, what I'm going to do is test Grok out now. I'm going to go to the chat feature, and we're going to open the Arduino website. Right, so what we're going to do here is find a few examples on Arduino.cc and Exchange and ask Grok what it thinks. Might find this one here. Let's find a good example I can use. So look at this one here. Arduino minimum R4. Run a trigger function and a while loop, blah, blah, blah. I'm unsure why the pre-program being skipped. It's provided an example of his code. And I posted that. That's today. But anyway, right. You did get an example here. A reply, sorry. What makes you know the function is skipped? Don't measure. Okay, so it's got a few replies there. The code would be lots of skips around to a separate area where its previous behavior was to wait for a trigger sound. That's the case. Okay, right. That sounds like a good example. So let's put these to Grok. that. Paste that. You must press Shift and Enter here, because if you just press Enter, it will submit the query. So this code. Oops. Copy that. Press that there. I also just need to tell Grok that's code. Here is. Let's see what it comes back with. There we go. You got an answer instantly. They should have briefed it. Logic while the set function, so gives you clear, concise reason of why it's not working and how you can easily fix it. So it gives you a clear analysis here. Then it gives you a potential issue. Gives you expression of logic of the program, etc. Then gives you some suggested fixes. And it gives you a revised version of the code you can try. And obviously, I can't test that to see if it works, but you can guess what I mean here. Gives you key changes, what it's done, etc. And that's just absolutely brilliant, this. Just then you can just put it into Grok and you don't even need to use this forum at all. So you get the example straight away. Let's find something else I can use. Either that might be compilation error. See what that one is. Right, this is a good one. Right. Let's see what answer is being given. Everything goes all right. There is no compile error. Your sketch is ready to upload. There isn't nothing to worry about. Okay, that's a good one. Let's put it into Grok and see what that does. You config conversation. There's the running code. See what answer Grok gives you. Copy that. And the like see what Grok gives to that one. There you go. Right, so there's a syntax error in your code. It's missing the semicolon at the end. Now that in the original answer it didn't give that. The original answer says everything's all right and your sketch is ready to upload. Now just have a look at its code. Let's go back to start with it. Missing a semicolon at the end. These that begin. Let's have a look at its code. Yep, there's a semicolon missing there. Yeah, it spotted the error straight away. And it's also gives some suggestions to update the Ethernet library as well. So it goes a lot further than what the forum answer would give you. Even gives some debugging tips and everything. So this is absolutely fantastic. Like I said, there's absolutely no need to use forums anymore. You can just simply go on to the right. As you can see, my microphone cut out at this point. I'm using a headset where if it detects there's no audio being played, it will automatically turn itself off for power saving, which is rather annoying. Didn't notice that, but it didn't give me any warnings. But you can see here just how useful AI is for finding problems with your code. Now, here, what I'm doing is asking it to simulate an actual circuit just from code. And it's saying it is possible. That what it's doing here is, I've now asked it to generate a simulation of my clock using the schematic and the Arduino sketch. So I've uploaded that, and it's now given the answer. And what it's doing now is generating a Python script which actually simulates the hardware. You'll get that in the Windows app, or it will generate in the form of the Python script. Obviously, you need to install Python on your computer, and then it'll just give you a Python script you can just double-click and run. Now, as you can see here, it's showing you the actual Python script. I needed to make a few tweaks to it, because it didn't quite get the 7-segment display layout right, but I'll just jump to the part of the video now where I'm showing that. Right, now what I can see here, I've downloaded the clock simulation.py file that Grok generated for me, and you can see there now it's generated an actual representation of the code. Now, just going back to the program here, showing you what it's done. Yeah, there. It's generated some keys there to press to simulate the buttons on the clock and the remote control. Now you can see there, the codes are showing, and also the decimal points. For some reason it's put those in there, but it's just a demo that you can actually see whether your program will actually run and your circuit can be simulated without building the real hardware. So simply giving it a schematic diagram and some code, it can make a software simulation. A bit like the Spice programs, LC Spice, that sort of thing, but this can generate it on the fly. So you don't have to shell out an expensive software, you can just simply use this. Now, as you can see here, the example, it's not showing the custom 7-segment characters that I made, simply because Grok doesn't understand them. Now, obviously won't play the original audio, but I'm trying to set the date and time on it here, so let's close that down. One of the useful features about Grok is it can actually generate entire sketches from scratch. Now, here's a little project I'm working on. I've got a display board, which is dot matrix display board. I want to make a clock out of that, just for example. So this is what I'm asking it to do here. You write me an Arduino sketch. Now, the prompts you've got to give the AI is going to be very specific. You've got to describe exactly how the circuit will work, etc. To give you an effective example, now that it's generated a code which does compile, but it doesn't work. The display is all garbled. Now, what I suspect that is the lookup tables are wrong. But that is just a simple matter of making some tweaks to the program by just telling Grok. Now, it's actually giving me there, as you can just see, it's giving me all the connections what I need to make to the hardware to make it work. Now, sorry if this sounds a bit disjointed, but I'm not going to do it as a voiceover due to my microphone cutting out earlier, but you can see from the example it's generated a code and give all the hardware connections to make a clock that will display on a 7-segment, dot matrix display using the 5x7 font. Now, that would probably work. But yeah, you can just see how useful artificial intelligence really is. I would recommend you use it. But I think that basically wraps up this video for now. Thanks for watching.